music news now, and it's all about Coldplay. Remember them? Yeah, Coldplay announced 10th studio album, Moon Music. For Moon Men. The group fronted by Chris Martin last year revealed they had stopped making records after 2025, but according to the musician, they're wasting no time recording new material in that window while they can. Get 2 years to record all your Coldplay stuff that's going to last forever then, Chris.
Do a 2-pack.
So stop working in that factory in Wigan. Speaking to City News about bringing their Music of the Spheres world tour to Canada, he revealed, "We're finishing an album called Moon Music, which is the second Music of the Spheres volume, but that won't come out for a little bit. We might start playing some songs at some point this year. Having completed a triumphant run of 6 sold out nights at London's Wembley Stadium last year, Coldplay will play further European and UK stadium shows set to take place over the summer." You going, John?
Stephen, I'll tell you, I don't mind Coldplay. They were at Hampden in the summer there, and I was out walking my dog in such a sort of proximity. We're not that close, but we're close enough that you can hear it carrying through the night sky. I was up walking my dog in a sort of remote part, and I could hear it clear as day. I could hear him singing The Scientist. I could hear him singing Viva la Vida.
Yeah.
Quite a few of the songs, I heard them. The guy's voice is unreal, man. He's a brilliant musician. He can play the guitar, he can play the bass, he can play the piano.
And he writes.
And as a band, they are tight, man. They've still got that tightness as a band in terms of performing live.
Still the same lineup, isn't it?
Still the same lineup. The bassist is from Fife. Guitarist is outstanding, man. What he does with that Stratocaster and Telecaster and just guitars in general is epic. The drummer's brilliant too.
Yeah.
So I don't mind Coldplay, actually. Obviously they became more commercialised and samey
Preachy.
over like the last 6, 7, 8, 10 years.
It became U2 basically.
It became U2, but maybe not. The height's not as good as U2, and maybe the low's not as low as U2.
Yeah, somewhere in between.
Somewhere
Middle of the road. Yeah.
So but a U2 on like, antidepressant drugs, you don't reach the exhilarating highs or the debilitating lows, but you're just in there and you're okay.
Yeah, the baby-proof themselves,
The first 2 albums were outstanding. Obviously, some of the greatest albums ever made in music, period.
A Rush of Blood to the Head and Parachutes. Yeah.
Well, The Scientist even could be you could say it's the anthem of my generation, but it's not really my generation because he's not my generation. I think it's your generation.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when
you're accepting it,
John. In late 90s, Kevin, my brother, he bought Parachutes.
Who's an unwilling,
and at the point, I never knew who they were, and he said, the English band, give them a listen. I think it was Yellow. I went, but it's a bit bland, isn't it? Yellow. But it is a nice song, to be fair. But just listening to that album, probably about 4 or 5 singles off that right away.
Incredible.
That are very famous.
Is that the one with Sparks?
And Everything's Not Lost, which was a great song. I think it was one of the last tracks on the album. Then 2002, I want to say, Rush of Blood to the Head came out, which was a phenomenal album. I loved that album when it came out. And even after that, John, they still had great songs like that one you mentioned.
Viva La Vida.
Speed of Sound. There was good songs, maybe not great albums, but still could generate a good hit. I don't mind Chris Martin. I think sometimes he was a wee bit preachy.
He is still a bit preachy. He's a bit sort of Kumbaya Lord at times.
But he has got a good sense of humour about him, and we saw that in Extras. I thought he was great in that. And
does a lot as well. He does give his time up.
Yeah, he does a lot of work for
it's
charity.
It's recommended.
Yeah.
Steve, I always go back. I mean, there's a performance in the Middle East. I've cut you off there.
No.
But there's a specific concert in the Middle East that was in Citadel or something like that, on top of this historic site. I don't know where it is exactly. Maybe in Yemen. I don't think it was though. Fucking incredible live performance.
Johnny also pulled together the Manchester concert, didn't he? For the bombing that happened a few years ago.
Decided to set it out.
Yeah, it was a great concert, and well put together in such a short space of time. Sending that message out to terrorists, that we will not change our ways and we're not afraid of you. I thought it was a good concert, a lot of good acts there, and it was all down to partly Chris Martin. you know, obviously getting involved in that. And I think he did do a rendition of Don't Look Back Now with Ariana Grande, which was weird. I don't think she sang any. I don't think she knew the song.
I don't think she could.
She kind of just danced. It was a bit weird.
Soft voice.
You don't dance to Don't Look Back Now. There's no dance movements.
I can't imagine her going anywhere near that song. I'm not going to lie.
I think it was sporadic. I think Chris Martin happened to be on the stage at the same time and just started singing it, and I think she was just there and she couldn't just walk off, so she had to kind of just
she'd done a partridge. Sometimes I just stand like this.
Yeah, so it's a bit,
or dance like this.
But it was a good concert, John. But getting back to obviously Coldplay, 10th album,
that's some achievement.
I mean, that's an album every 2 years basically when you think about it. If they came out 99, I think the first album came out, you're talking 24 years, so it's every 2 years an album's come out. But they have they brought out quite a few albums between 99 and 2004, I think, and then they were kind of spaced out a bit more after that. But some might say they're a bit samey sounding, and
but it happens to them all, Stephen.
They've only got one singer.
They have only got one singer,
so the singer's always going to sound the same.
Yeah,
it's not like Beatles where they had 3 singers and sometimes a 4th one. So it is, but it is. But I don't think I'll buy that one, but it'll be on Spotify.
Yeah, it'll be on Spotify or on Apple Music, so you can certainly listen and maybe pick out some of the hits. And I think they've still got the gravitas that they will get played in the sort of more populist radio stations and get their sound out there. So I'm sure if something strikes a chord, there's a potential they could get like number 1. I mean, there's some amount of shite getting to number 1 now anyway, so it's not that hard.
No,
if you look at the fucking nonsense we've had in the last 4 or 5 years at Christmas. For instance, I know they're doing it for charity, but Jesus Christ, what's fucking happening to humanity?
We're all becoming charitable.
Oh, God almighty. It's just, I mean, the best charity is to stop, just pay to the charities and stop funding that bullshit and get a proper Christmas number 1 again. But that's over and by with. We're getting into February now, sadly.
Yeah, that drunk guy that sang Merry Christmas, everyone.
Could do fucking worse, I tell you that. It's not much worse. We built this city on sausage rolls, what?
Yeah, what was that all about?
It's like pish. They've had 4 number 1s in the last 5 years, Stephen. I don't know if you're aware of that. I wasn't, because I don't really do Christmas music that much. I just listen to
I mean, it was always gimmicky, John. But as much as I like Peter Kay, that one he did when he was playing the female sort of pop idol star. Do you remember it? Over and over again.
I blame Simon Cowell for all this.
Peter Kay was making a mockery of the whole thing.
That plastic fucking waxwork model dummy. He created all of this with this X Factor shite, and the winner's getting a guaranteed number 1 at Christmas. It's down to that.
Yeah,
absolute bottom. But in terms of this new album, Stephen, look, it could be. In terms, as I say, they're still tight as a band. The sound's still there. The guitarist is outstanding. He's like a slightly different version of Edge from
it's funny, John, because when you listen to In My Place, it's very edgy.
You
know, the guitar work.
He loves the Edge. He grew up listening to U2. I don't even know his name, but he is a cool guy. He's funny. And you watch his performances, he's got a great on sort of stage persona. He has a good laugh and joke. The bassist is a cool looking dude. He's always been cool as hell. So in terms of a band, they've still got it. It's just whether they've got it in the lyrics and they've got it structurally to give us a really special album in their mid-40s. Because no offence to people in their mid-40s, even mid-30s, it's beyond a lot of bands. Bands tend to come out the early 20s, mid-20s, give you all this special stuff. Then they just get older, they become wealthy, they haven't got the life experiences they had when they were younger, they lose their edge, and they just can't deliver that special music, which, going back to the Beatles, as we always do when we speak about music, is why it was the best thing they ever did, getting out when they were all in their 20s.
Yeah.
Because they were youthful, they hadn't really lost the edge and the brilliant drive. They were wealthy, but they still were living in incredible times.
Yeah.
And they never really lost that edge. That's why they remain so... There's an order around them.
Certainly is, John. I'm sure for years to come, I don't think 2025 will see the last of Coldplay. I don't believe that for a second. Chris Martin may get into songwriting and write for others. He did it with Embrace for that. What was that called again? Gravity.
It's another one, yeah.
Gravity, wasn't it? I mean, you could tell it. Coldplay are written all over it. You could tell it was Chris Martin that penned that one. But I don't think it will be the last we'll hear of him or the band.
Well, they'll just become their own Stones. They'll just tour with their discography.
Yeah, and their faces.
They'll become a sort of global version of Elvis Presley at Las Vegas.
Yeah, there'll be holograms.
Yeah, they'll wear jumpsuits and
write things on the palm of their hands. That's like a smart thing, isn't it?
He's already fucking doing it. Even the clothes he wears, man, it's just they're cool looking.
Yeah.
They suit him. What the fuck?
Sponsored by Oxfam.
Yeah.
John, we're going to move on.
Benton United calls him Benton.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
He's a good guy.
He is a good guy.